This is a lecture from Open Tuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
Let's now look at a slightly more complicated example than the one that we've just previously looked at, which now doesn't involve a trading transaction with regards to, say, a payable or potentially a receivable that you could have within the exam. We look at now whereby you've got a non-monetary item, which obviously doesn't require translating at the end of the year. And the issue that we've got now is that that non-monetary item is subject to the revaluation model, okay? And therefore, we will need to identify the fair value at the end of the year. And when we've identified the fair value, we need to do some form of translation, be able to work out the gains or losses. So let's just have a look what we're on about exactly with regards to the example, okay? It's a little bit more tricky. So what you've got there is it says, show how the transaction will be recorded in Flower's financial statement. So SFP, profit or loss, cash flows, if you so wish. For the year ended, is it there, the 31st of December 2015. Okay. So what we've got there is Flower Inc. So Inc. presumably an American company, therefore the functional currency being the dollar. Acquired an item of property, plant and equipment. So remember, PPE is there, isn't it, as non-monetary. So what you would do is you would translate it at the rate that was in place on the date, you would depreciate it, and at each reporting period you would not retranslate it, okay, as it is a non-monetary item. So what you've got there, 1st of January 2011, we bought it at a cost of 72 million dinars. So the rate that was in place on that date would be 3.6. So we need to translate the 72 million dinars into however many million dollars. Okay. Once we've done that, we will then depreciate it, straight line over 20 years. So that's nice and straightforward. Even more straightforward, nil residual value. Whew. Don't want any residual value to deal with, do we? And then the key bit now, getting into the foreign currency aspect, is that the 31st of December, so at the reporting date, it was revalued to $95 million. So let's assume that we are adopting the revaluation model. It was revalued to 95 million dinars. We need to translate that 95 million dinars into the functional currency before we then process any revaluation whatsoever. Okay. Again, we need to translate it at the rate that's in place on that date. So the 31st of December, the historic rate on that date is the 4.3 dinars to the dollar. Okay. So let's go through, have a look at it in terms of the revaluation. So what you've got there is that we have it based upon its cost, which was the 72 million dinars. And was it there at 3.6? Let's just double check. 72 million dinars and the rate was there at 3.6. So my historic cost that we have there, 72 divided by 3.6, is there as $20 million, isn't it? Okay, so everything we're working in now is in millions of dollars. So that's what would have happened, was that on January 11. What we need to go through and do now is we need to think about the depreciation. So that cost was the 1st of Jan 2011. We need to depreciate that asset, isn't it? So 20, was it over 20 years? But just be careful, because when we're looking at the carrying value, that's at the 31st of December 2015, wasn't it? Because then what we can do is we can then revalue that asset up to its fair value. Okay, so how many years? All of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so there are 5 years worth of depreciation. So the carrying value at December 2015 is $15 million. We revalue it to its 95 million dinars, don't we? But that's in a different currency to our functional currency, isn't it? we need to get it into the functional currency. So translate it at the rate that's in place today, being December 2015, the 31st of December 2015. And that rate there is it at 4.3. So 95 divided by 4.3, does that give me $22.1 million? Okay. So what we've got there now is we can look at our surplus. So the gain that you've got, 22.1 less 15, is there as $7.1 million. So what you would have there is that the gain of 7.1 would go through other comprehensive income, or if you like, that then feeds directly into your other component of equity, don't we? The depreciation of 5 this year goes to your statement of profit or loss if you were asked to prepare the statement of profit or loss. And then what you would have there is that the carrying value of 22.1 is what you would have on the statement of financial position, isn't it? Okay. So maybe if you had 15 already in there, you would just add the 7.1 to get it up to the 22.1. That's it in terms of the example. So you've got the expense of the depreciation and profit or loss. You've got the revalued amount on the SFP. You've got the gain through other components of equity or your other comprehensive income. The only other thing that I would then go through and think about, I know it's not required within the question, but if then subsequently you are asked to consider what happens, what was the treatment of a revalued asset? How do we then subsequently depreciate it? Can you cast your minds back to F7? No. Yeah, I'm sure you can. Remember what you did there is that if you revalued your asset upwards, it's not even F7, it's F3, isn't it? Going back, way back. Is that once you revalued it upwards, you then depreciated it over its remaining useful life. That sound familiar? Reasonably. So what you would have now is that 22.1 million, that is the revalued amount, isn't it? You would depreciate that over its remaining useful life. Well, if we've depreciated it for 5 years out of 20, there are 15 years left, aren't there? So we would depreciate the 22.1 over the 15 years. You can then go off as well and start thinking about excess depreciation and how we can then make a reserve transfer for that excess depreciation. But we'll save all that for another time. I just want you to focus on the revaluation aspect, and the revaluation aspect if we have a asset that is denominated in a currency that is different to the functional currency. And the key bit that you need to take from this there is that you take the fair value at the date of revaluation and you translate it at the rate that is in place on that date before you then go through there and consider the revaluation treatment. There you have it. Again, that's cropped up within a larger groups question. It could also crop up as well, if you so wish, within a smaller part of a question 2 or a question 3, specifically examining a part of IS 21, being the accounting standard that deals with all of your foreign currency.